What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Backliners podcast. It's Aggro and BaRRaCCuDDa for once. It's not
Hello.
as per
I'm
usual.
back.
Oh my god, I've got the audio working. That's what I'm talking about, baby. It's like I've never left. Barry, when was the last time you and I did a podcast episode together? It's been well over a month, right?
Yeah, December wasn't great for me, and then before that, I think we might have done one around Thanksgiving. I think, maybe?
Yeah, we must have done one around Thanksgiving, right? Surely.
Hopefully.
Surely
Yeah.
we did at some point. Well, it's good to have you back, young Barry. Can you believe that it's time for us to talk about, like, Worlds?
Yeah, no, that doesn't seem real.
That it's insane.
I think it's also because I'm a bit out of Smite now. It just kind of feels like I blinked and then like October to January happened.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so there's not like these major events anymore. I'm just kind of like, oh, it's Worlds.
Oops, it's Worlds time.
Like, that seems very... it just doesn't feel real that Worlds is this weekend.
So crazy. You are not going to Worlds, is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
You're the worst. I hate you.
I know, I'm sorry. I hate me too.
It's crazy to think that this is going to be the first Worlds you've ever not gone to.
I know.
Right? In 10 years. This has been a mainstay of your schedule.
I know, exactly.
In the year. Now you're going to be... Surely you're going to, like, set... Like, you're not going to be doing things this weekend, right? Like, are you going to, like...
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I'm going to watch every game. Well, I mean, obviously, like, Friday I can't, but...
Sure.
Saturday and Sunday for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to stream it, but we'll just see how that happens, if it happens.
Yeah, you probably will get a lot of viewers restreaming, so not a bad business decision from you, I suppose.
But that's the thing, I kind of want to, like...
Vibe.
I kind of just want to, like...
It's true, you've never gotten a chance. That was my experience, like, last year, was that I never gotten to just, like, sit there and watch a Worlds happen.
It'd be funny. I could just turn my stream on and just, like, go watch Worlds in
you basically could. Like,
in my living room.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You actually probably could do that. I mean... Yeah, get your boys together, have a little watch party at your house. Like, it would be fun.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I don't know if I mean, I want to stream it, but I don't know if I will.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's the current thing. Things are weird right now, but they're getting better.
I feel you on that. Well, let's talk a little bit about what we saw in the group stage this last weekend, just real briefly before we start talking about predictions.
What was that? That was
Thank you. Yes, let's get some hot takes going here, Barry, okay? Because I'm itching to get some hot takes out. It's been a long time since we've podcasted, especially you and me together. I'm feeling spicy today. Let's call a spade, okay? It was a lot of fun Smite to watch because it was a lot of ugly Smite. Like, this event did not make me think that any of these teams, not a single team that played over this last weekend, if they play the way they did over this weekend, they will get embarrassed. They will go, it would be 0-8 against the top 4 seed. I don't care if you're the Ravens, the Kings, the Scarabs, or Hex Mambo. I felt like every single one of these teams had a lot of really, really bad drafts, a lot of bad execution, a lot of bad, like, mechanical plays. I don't know what was going on in the studio this weekend, but it was fun to watch, at the very least.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a mix of people playing really bad and really good at the same time. And you really didn't know which moment was going to be a good moment or a bad moment for teams. So it was interesting and it was exciting to watch, but I was just so confused. I mean, Charon had to be, like, popping off in scrims. Like,
had to be. Same with Rat, bro. They stuck with the Rat over and over and over again. Like, every team loved Rat.
Yeah, I feel like Rat does more than Charon does. So I was fine with the Rat pick, even though his win-loss was, like, terrible. He was like 0-8 or whatever. And then Johnny got, like, his first win, or the Rat's first win of the tournament.
Yeah.
But I was fine with that just because it's a ganking jungler, and I feel like ganking junglers are kind of always good. But Charon, I think Charon was only good in the mage solo meta, where like you're gonna throw out your two, and then the mage is gonna have like long range poke, and then there's no divers.
Yep.
Like there's no divers in that meta, and
Yep.
I think once Charon has to deal with divers and a jungler and a warrior diving, Charon becomes useless. Like
Yep.
warriors do not care about a silence. The warriors do not care that they're gonna get a slight shield. Like
Nope.
it doesn't matter. Like the initiations that the warriors, like the class, were able to do, and the Charon would just be like casting his buttons and doing nothing else. Like he wasn't able to do anything. And I feel like he was just so much better in the mage meta. He just had to be popping off in scrims. Like
Yep.
teams had to be like top 3ing him every game, and if you didn't get Charon, you lost or something. Like
Yep.
I feel like SPL teams just came in with like a hard scrim meta and then got like the carpet ripped up under their feet. Like and it's yeah, I don't know. It was just embarrassing by the SPL teams. And I mean, okay, I don't want to take anything away from SEC, but I think I will take something away from SEC.
By all
The
means.
SPL teams just played bad.
Awful.
They
Terrible.
just played bad. Straight up.
Yep.
Bad drafts, bad execution.
Yep.
Bad. I think this was the worst SPL weekend I've seen in a long time, like across like SPL team performances.
Yep.
And again, the SEC teams did play good, but I don't think that I should ever be in a headspace where I'm like, I think 3 SEC teams are going to go to Worlds. Like, that should never be a thought in my head of like, oh wow, like people like Yarkor and BMT, like some of the most mechanical, gifted players in that tournament, yeah, they're just not going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, how are they playing so bad?
Sorry. Yeah, you can't tell me that no matter what the meta is, no matter what is happening, that Tuba should be playing ADC at Worlds over Yarkor. You know what I mean? And I gotta give Tuba some props. I thought that he was going to really struggle this weekend. He played much better than I thought he would.
Yeah.
And really held his own. And looked like a very solid piece of that Wardens team that really popped off. But at the end of the day, we're talking about your freaking core. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? It's not. It was baffling to me that these teams were struggling on this level, and I really felt like you're right in that they were just slow. It was bad execution, particularly for the Kings, and particularly for Twig, who continued to really struggle this event. But also the drafts felt really odd. Like, where was why was this Raijin so heavily prioritized? Why did that get 9 picks in mid? That god went 3 and 6 and looked. Rapio played it well, but that's a guy who has role swapped over to mid. You expect his god pool to be somewhat small, and when Raijin has been really strong most of the year, and then he gets nerfed, it makes sense to me that he's going to keep going to it. In my opinion, that god is not playable at a high level right now. I just think he doesn't do enough. But it wasn't just Rapio picking it. It was a lot of teams picking it. And I just it baffled me when Baba Yaga looked insanely good, like insanely broken. Thoth looked really good. I thought Cuckoo looked pretty solid. I thought the junglers getting picked, like in the soul lane, like why were we picking Wukong so often, man? Like that god looked bad in comparison. You know what I saw out of soul lane? You better be able to start a fight if you're a solo laner. And Wukong does not start a fight very well. My man's went 3 and 9 over the weekend.
Yeah, there were some initiations Wukong's had that were like half decent, but I completely agree with you. The vast majority of Wukong gameplay and Wukong initiations, it was like a blink like Ox form, and I'm like, what?
Terrible.
Like, that's like blink Sylvanas ulting now. Like, you don't have these big mage abilities that are going to kill somebody off of a knock-up right now.
Yep.
That's just like it's not the meta. You need team fights to just be longer than that. You need your initiation to be better. And like I think Nike looked relatively good. I think Haddox made Nike look really good.
Yes.
And I don't think other people really played up to that level. I
She
think Osiris
was the second
looked
most, tied for Osiris with the second most picked. Nike went 6
okay,
and
good.
1. Osiris went 5 and 2.
Yeah, Osiris seemed crazy. I
Yes.
thought I saw like a tier list on Twitter or something about Osiris being bottom. I
Yeah, I
think
think it was like Dishonored or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, that was rough.
and I yeah, Osiris looked insane. Like
Yep.
he was unkillable. He was just I can't remember what team it was, but he was just able to blink on the mage kind of every single fight and just solo the mage basically.
Probably Deathwalker. I really like Deathwalker's Osiris build
Yeah.
that he was going with, like heavy XE. I thought that was really good.
Why? Okay, this is another critique of mine. I'm just gonna be unhinged, I think.
I'm give it directly in my veins, baby. Keep going.
Why is it every year at this tournament, people just like swap to whatever Deathwalker's doing?
Because Deathwalker does think about what he's doing instead of just he is one of the less feels based. I'm not saying he isn't a feels based player, because he is for sure, but I do think that he puts more critical thought into what he's doing than the average SPL player.
Yeah, but like,
and he picks things that facilitate what solo laners have historically succeeded in doing. Remember that Deathwalker was like going blow for blow with who I think is indisputably the best solo laner of all time, who was Benji. And Benji understood what that role needed to do just implicitly. Like, he just got it. And Deathwalker is picking Osiris and just tethering your backline. And then the backline goes, we can't kill this guy. And so then other teams start doing that because it's, like, really good. Yeah.
why don't they just do that at any other point in the year?
Well, BaRRa, it's because it doesn't feel as fun, I imagine.
Like, I saw...
Like Deathwalker doesn't always dominate lane. He often dominates team fights, but sometimes he has to, like, take a little bit of a backseat in lane. Not at this event, because solo laners at this event, I thought beyond Haddox and Deathwalker were incredibly underwhelming with the way that they were playing.
Which is kind of funny, because I thought solo was, like, one of the best roles at this event. Like, well, in, like, the most impactful roles, I mean. Not, like, performance-wise, but, like, ability to make an impact. Because, like, the team fights that Haddox and Deathwalker were starting, it was like, okay, you can't win the team fight. Like, someone got a really good initiation, or Deathwalker soloing your mage, or Haddox's blink, like, Nike ulting 4 people, like... And then I remember someone else playing Nike, and they just, like, blink 2'd, and then the ADC dashed away. He jumped on them, and he, like, whipped him 3 times, and he was, like, 20% health. Like... What? Like, if you're telling me you could do that at any point, like, just win the team fight for me, dog. Like,
I gotta say it at least once. I am very glad. Like, Warriors looked insanely strong during this event. I was glad to see that the initial takes of Warriors are still bad and Mage solos are still OP after the last patch notes was not the case. I appreciate the fact that the meta did shift away from that, and I don't want to, make I'm not trying to go, I told you so, or anything like that. I am simply glad that this was what the meta looked like in solo, because if you would have told me when I was working on that patch and, like, really worried about it, that this is what this meta would look like, I would sleep very soundly for the 1 hour that my son let me sleep that night. I'd feel very good in that. So I feel very good about how the solo meta worked. I cannot wait to see what, like, Baskin and Fino K are, like, cooking up.
Mages.
I'm gonna throw up if that happens. I'm gonna be so mad if that's the case. There's no way, dude. Warriors looked so OP at this event, man. They looked so OP. They look so OP. Don't say that. I didn't even. It didn't even cross my mind that they might play mages now, man.
I've ruined you.
I'm ruined.
For these 2 or 3 days before Worlds, you're gonna be like,
no.
what if they pick one? What if they pick one? It's gonna be like 10th pick. They don't know Soul, and they're just gonna like cover Raijin or
the
something.
whole crowd is gonna boo. They're all gonna stand up and point right at me and Lermy and like boo as loud as possible, and I'm gonna be so sad.
They can blame you in real life now.
They can. I wish they won't, but they might. You never know. Yeah, overall, about the teams, I guess, that qualified. Well, first of all, big shout out to the Wardens. That team way overperformed my expectations. Literally, all 5 players played better than I thought they would.
Yeah, they were like the 5th or 6th team going into it or something.
Yeah.
Or like in NA or whatever. Yeah.
Yep, they're the one who upset Sam for Soccer's team. And yeah, they played great. Nog is like a legit superstar in the making. That guy is so good.
I was gonna say I think he's like the player of the tournament. Honestly,
yeah, he played lights out, man. He really did. I thought Elion was like, I thought his god pool may have hurt them a little bit because he was picking like Maui is such a feast or famine pick, but he made it look really really solid. He had so many like game changing alts. I thought he played great. Like I said, I thought Tuba would be getting gapped. He really didn't.
Tuba played really good.
Tuba played really solid. Tuba. The Wardens in general, big shout outs to them, man. They played great. The Ravens, I thought, looked like the best team by a pretty wide margin. That being said, their duo lane looked like one of the worst duo lanes by a pretty wide margin. I thought that was the Haddock, Scream, Ven carry project. Hurry and Zap. More so Zap than Hurry, but both kind of took turns sprinting it a little bit in duo.
Yeah, I was pretty annoyed with how Ravens were playing. I think that those sloppy early games just cannot happen at Worlds. Like,
yeah, they were making like 4 or 5 mistakes per lane, where one mistake will lose them a game at World. Like on the stage.
I mean, especially now that the teams have been decided. I mean, we can get to that later, but like since they have to play Dragons,
yeah,
like you cannot give Coast a lead.
Bro,
like,
Coast and Mike must be like literally like salivating, just like
that's what I was gonna say.
They're like, dude, I'm gonna pick on her. I'm gonna be like 4-0 at level 6. Like it's gonna be curtains for that team. Like Haddox and Scream in particular played really, really great. I thought Ven played really solid. It won't matter.
Agreed.
It literally won't matter if you give that Dragons team a duo lead like what we saw. And you know who's gonna be over there too? It's gonna be Dardez on Maman mid, and he's gonna make Zap go like 0-9.
Oh, true. Yeah, the picks and bans are gonna be hard against Dragons.
Yeah. We can get into that matchup here in a moment. But yeah, Ravens looked like the best team outside of duo, which severely concerns me if I'm a Ravens fan. But
yeah, Ravens.
Haddox looks like the best he's ever. I think that we were talking about Haddox. Maybe was that with you or with Bobby when you were out that like Haddox died like 3 times in 3 games or something like that in a 3-0 against them. And I felt like he wasn't really like frontlining enough. He was like kind of KDA saving as a frontliner, which is a cardinal sin. He was not doing that at all. He was willing to die for good fights. He was initiating really well. I thought that was about as good as I've ever seen Haddox play. And that's a really good sign for the Ravens.
Yeah, Warriors being meta and the Warriors that are in meta, like, will just always favor Haddox. If strong frontliners are meta, Haddox will shine. Yep. And in my opinion, strong frontliners are meta. Yep. We'll see if Nika gives him, I assume, not the same amount of room that a player like Julio would.
Yes.
Because Julio, or I don't know if you saw the post-game interview, Haddox was just like, I was against a brute minion.
I'm gonna be real. He was right. Like Julio was stinky that set in lane.
Also, why are teams not valuing totems?
I don't know, bro.
There were some games where it was like 9-0 totems.
Yep.
Like you were costing your entire team the game if you are going down 0 to 9 in totems. Like, duo lane is over if they get 9 totems. Like,
I don't know.
all the mana sustain, all the poke that you're gonna eat over 9 totems.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Ravens,
I assume it's impactful in mid as well, but yeah, sorry.
Yeah, for sure. No, you're good. Ravens, I'm high on. Hex Mambo, I don't know, man. I just can't get that excited about this team. I know that they've got Johnny. I know that, like, you know, Spudio is a really good player. This team looked really one-dimensional to me. I thought...
Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah, Cal and Wardens beat them 4 games in a
row. Against Hex Mambo.
I think that was Hex Mambo, right? Or is that a different team?
No, that was a different team. Let's see. They beat the Wardens 2-0'd the Hounds, which was absolutely crazy. Yeah, I guess we could talk about, like, the Hounds and Glads, as those are the SPL teams that got eliminated.
Scarabs. Okay. It was Scarabs.
Yeah, Scarabs. There you go. Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought this Hounds Warden set, like, it was kind of just like Nog really popping off, and I thought El Leon had a really sick game here as well. He went 0-0-13 when his team had 14 kills, like, as a support. That is crazy. Kill participation. Slash also 13 out of 14 kill participation, which is really impressive. But I thought Neil was struggling. They went Charon both games for him, so that wasn't great. I thought Oath was looking like the less impactful jungler between him and Slash, which I never would have said going into that set. Ducky was really good game 2 on Odin, but your Odin, like, you can't really do it all by yourself.
Was that the game they had Odin with, like, no follow-up?
Yeah, they had Tiamat, Rat,
yeah,
like, you know, just not that impressive. I thought Stu disappointed me in this set. Like, you know, like I said, I think that the duo lane for the Hounds is where you're looking for them to kind of make a separation, and I thought Tuba outplayed Stu for the most part in this set. Hounds just kind of got beat across the board, which I'm sure was very disappointing for them.
Yeah, in my opinion, the Hounds trajectory just followed the path that it was following this year and just ended, like, fizzled out. Like, they started, like, fiery hot and then got worse and then got worse, and then they just, like, ended at the bottom.
Yes. And kind of similar for the Gladiators. This set they just got rolled. I mean, 26 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes against Hex Mambo. I will say this. I know, and I will admit to some amount of bias here because, you know, everyone knows that I'm good friends with Snoopy. It certainly wasn't Snoopy's best year by any means, but I thought this Gladiators frontline was one of the weakest SPL front lines we've seen in a long time. Jake was by far the best support in the league, Phase 1. He has been, I think, by far the worst support since then. It's understandable how he gets there. He got absolutely snaked, in my opinion, by the Warriors, and that's going to do a lot to kill your mental. But man, I thought Jake, like, this whole phase, I thought Jake was really struggling. And Kana as well. I know he's on ping, but I mean, we're talking like some decision making, just the way he's playing and building and all that kind of stuff. I feel like the Gladiators frontline meant that the rest of that team just had next to no chance of success, in my opinion, because I think the game is just so frontline oriented that they were going to struggle, like, no matter what.
Yeah, I agree, but I will also say that their backline did play pretty awfully this event.
Yes, I would definitely agree.
I don't think Snoopy knows how to play with Jake. And their chemistry and lack of chemistry was showing through a lot. And then both of them were just making a ton of individual mistakes and just not playing off of each other correctly.
Yep.
And it just showed. And then also, I think Jake picked Charon a fair bit.
Yep.
And Charon is in my opinion, a pretty selfish pick. I think it might feel good for the person playing it, but as a backline, when you get like blinked on or double blinked on, you're like, okay, dog, like shield me, like silence me, like
here we go,
do anything for me, and he just doesn't do anything. But I think it feels good for the person playing it, maybe. Yep. But in my opinion, if you're gonna pick Charon, just pick Ganesh. I think Ganesh just does a better job than Charon. Like,
yeah, but Ganesh gets less. You know, Ganesh gets less damage, right?
That is true. He does get less damage, and
yeah.
But also, you know, giving your support free last hits the entire laning phase is pretty cool. Or giving your ADC free last hits is pretty cool. And then, you know, like silencing for like, you know, 18 seconds, and then also like shredding prots and slowing. And
yeah, but you know they deal less damage, like as Ganesh, right?
Well, like maybe, but like my Ganesh is pretty good.
Right. Well, that's just you're built different. Like
I'm built different. I have a Ganesh and a Geb in the pool.
Yep. And a Xingqian.
And a Xingqian. And a Xingqian. Yeah,
yep. Yeah. Can't be forgetting about that.
Yeah, where's the Xingqian gameplay? Honestly?
That's what I'm saying, bro. You know what Osiris doesn't like to see? Xingqian.
True. That is some strong peel.
Yep, strong peel.
And
a lot of his damage through basics.
People were playing like overly aggressive lanes. I mean, you saw like Maui's and Ishtar's, but outside of that, I feel like as the tournament went on, the lanes got slower and slower.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it picks back up at Worlds, or like the fast pacedness picks back up at Worlds in the dual lane. But in my opinion, it just slowed down. Yeah, I feel like you could have got away with more late game picks by going War Flag. And then also, if just pick an aggressive soul laner, if you get like the first few totems, the aggressive lane can't really do too much because they'll run out of mana.
True.
And I don't know why I don't know why people weren't doing that, because I feel like you just nullify the aggressive lane, especially with ADCs going Cal right now. Like, they just run in 2 seconds without a totem. And yeah, that's I just feel like people should be doing that. But yeah, I feel like the peel supports with the Warriors being back in are really good. I did see El Leon, I think, have a really rough Sylvanas game, but he was into like Ganesh and then like 3 gods that would just CC him until death. It was like Ganesh Hoonbots.
Right.
And he would just get CC'd until death. But yeah, I don't know. It seemed like a weird meta overall. A very mixed meta, but I think at Worlds we'll see a bit more definition in picks and ideas.
Yes, I agree. I think the Worlds meta will be pretty different, and I'm excited to see it, for sure. Real quick, let's talk about the Scarabs. This is April, Deathwalker, Ecro, My Silent Zeros.
For some reason, I was just mixing up Deathwalker and Hex Mambo. Like,
yeah, he was on Mambo last year.
Yeah, he's just ingrained in my brain.
I think April is the real deal. That dude's a beast. Very impressed with him. I don't know, man. Well, yeah, let's just actually get into the matchups. Let's do it that way, because they're the first matchup anyways. It's them versus the Styx Fairymen. Here's the deal, okay? Baskin Deathwalker, absolutely banger lane to start out Worlds, right? We're talking Friday at 12:30 p.m. You get to watch Deathwalker versus Baskin. What an absolute treat that is going to be. The rest of it, I'm less, like April, I'm very high on. I thought the dual lane for the Scarabs was fine, but you've got a Roar Cyclone to go up against. Zeros just has his style, man. Zeros is going to pick what Zeros is going to pick, and Zeros is going to...
It's style versus style in the mid lane. Like, both players...
And Paul is just the best mid laner that's ever lived. And it's not like he just does the passive farm thing. Like, he will jam it. He will pick Uller and jam it down your throat if you let him. Like, he will play a lane dominant style if you give him the space, and the Scarabs might just give him the space. I mean, the Fairymen, for my money, are the favorites. I think many people feel that way. I think Baskin has been the best solo laner this year, pretty consistently. Sot had his, like, unbelievable peak in phase 1, but other than that, I think Baskin has far and away impressed me the most. I feel like this is the worst matchup for the Scarabs because their strongest side is the right side of the map. It's April and Deathwalker, and Sino and Baskin work so well together, and I think Baskin is the best solo laner. So, and he's played against Deathwalker. He's not going to be like Deathwalker, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't think Deathwalker is going to be able to control all the totems like he was previously, which
man. No, like, he's gonna pick Amma and he's gonna jam it. Like, that's what's gonna happen, right? Like, you're not gonna get a free lane against Wooney.
And then also Sino has his days where he's just in your lane over and over again, especially in solo.
And Sino is like, you can call that guy an inter, you can not like his picks. That dude has performed at every single Worlds event he's ever played at. Like, he is not gonna be one to like choke on a stage. That's usually where he plays his best Smite.
Yeah, unfortunately, the rest of Fairymen are also like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of why they're the favorites.
It's just kind of unlucky.
Because they've got a lot of rings across all 5 players. Woody might be getting his here. We'll have to see. I am going to take our predictions for each match. But
this one's a 2-0 pretty easily.
2-0 Fairymen?
Yeah.
Yeah, me as well. How do I usually do this? Okay, so it's Fairy versus Scarabs. Could I have written this out in my notebook ahead of time? Yep. Did I? Nope. Because that's the podcast experience you all have learned to love. Yeah, it's gonna be. I think Fairymen are gonna run away with this one. But I am excited to see Deathwalker versus Baskin, for sure.
I think the only chance the Scarabs have is the first 5 minutes of game 1. And if they can start something in that time frame, they can open it up. But if they can't, I think that Fairymen will take it very easily 2-0.
You think you think the Zeros team is going to do something pre-5 minutes?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need to. They need to find the gas and just turn it on.
Yep.
Whatever gas that is, anywhere. Like, I don't care if you're invading somewhere, like invading like the mid solo on like solo side, and you're just trying to 50-50 that camp or something and trying to steal something. You need to do something that an SPL team of that caliber is not used to. Like, you need to just pull the rug out. Like, just slap them in the face, not in person, but in the game. And just try to figure out one way to just catch them off guard to where they are not completely comfortable loading into that game. Or, like, before the 5 minute mark, they need to be not comfortable. Because if they're comfortable and you just let them play their style, they are going to stomp you.
Excuse me. Sorry. I was thinking, though, I've got the strat here for the Scarabs, okay? Here's what you do.
Okay.
Remember when Deathwalker solo invaded adapting? I think it was season 5 when he was on Rival. He solo invaded adapting, playing Erlong solo, and like either stole his camp or killed him or almost killed him, something along those lines. They need to do that to Sino. They need to really get Sino worked up. They need to get Deathwalker, ahead. Give him the Erlang, meet him at the blue and speed, pulled together or whatever. That's not Sino, I know, but whatever. And just do some
meet
nonsense.
him somewhere.
Yeah, meet him somewhere, do some nonsense. That's the play. All right, Jade Dragon's up against Highland Ravens. Who you like here, Barry?
Okay. This is gonna sound bad, but I'm gonna say Dragons.
Why would that sound bad? You're an impartial observer these days, Barry.
Yeah, but I want to cheer for Ravens because I like them, but I also feel like it is just gonna be dragons.
Sure.
I think Coast has reinvigorated this team and
Mm-hmm.
added a lot of spice to them and kind of brought them back from the I I don't want to say complacency, um, but it's like I don't know if it's like unknown complacency. It's like complacency that you can't do anything about.
Yep.
Where you just but I don't think that's complacency because I feel like complacency is like doing it actively or
They
doing
were
it
just stuck.
yourself.
They were stuck in a rut. They
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
they were stuck in a rut.
Involuntarily.
Yeah.
And then I feel like Coast has kind of brought this team back. I'm sure Mike is enjoying his time more with Coast versus Vote.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just I feel like the
Because he hates
styles
Scottish
probably
people.
feel like the styles probably mesh a
Oh,
little
right.
bit
That's yeah. That
easier.
makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My bad. I got a misread
And
on that.
wait, what is Coast?
Oh no! Is he Scottish? No, I don't know.
I
I don't
don't
know
know.
what Coast is.
Um, yeah, I feel like Coast is probably closer to like that Panda Cat style of playing, where you can kind of just get him a lead and then just leave him to his own devices and just kind of let him force the 1v1s and play that style. Whereas Vote was kind of more of a safe farmer. He'll get to team fights and he'll pop off there. And
Mm-hmm.
Coach just kind of gives you that extra win condition. Nothing obviously bad against Vote because I played that style for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what exploits that style, and that's why we always struggled against PBM and Panda Cat
Mm-hmm.
because he would give Panda Cat a lead, and I'm like, guys, I need help with my purples. Okay, no one's coming over. All right, see you later. I'm
Yeah.
losing another purple, and then like they would just get like deep vision, and then you just get choked out very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have to like fight them, but I I think Nika is going to play very well against Haddix. And last Worlds played phenomenally well.
Mm-hmm.
I think
He did.
he had like his pop off performance, and I mean, last played well in my opinion, kind of all of last year. Well, I guess like 2022 at this point. Um, and I think he played better at Worlds, and I hope that the duo lane of Ravens can turn it around, but I don't see them turning it around and magically gaining all this synergy and magically stop making all these mistakes. And I don't think Ravens looked really clean at the event. And Dragons are now coming into this event with knowing how the Ravens are going to play
Mm-hmm.
because they saw like 5 or 6 Ravens games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just extra downloadable information. And then Ravens probably have like 1 or 2 days of scrims before they leave, and that's probably going to be like 3 or 4 scrim sets, and then like you're going over pick some bands. And I don't think they're going to be able to change that much going into this event. And you're going against, in my opinion, your worst enemy in a duo pressure team
Your
with
team,
the
the you and Ven teams have always struggled against the PBM teams in playoff
Yep.
events in particular. Maybe maybe they come out and pop off, and we find out all along it was just your fault that it was.
That would be really funny.
You know,
That would be really funny.
I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah,
I
me
will
either,
say
but
this.
it would be funny.
I think there is a non-zero chance that Steve comes out and looks like Zapman of old, and if they get a lead in duo, if he like styles on Coast, gets a lead in duo, punches them in the mouth game 1, hard carries, takes all the wind out of the duo lane sails, they could win this set. That is the only avenue to winning this set for them.
I think that's a 0 chance based off of how Coast played at the last Worlds.
I think that is a fair assumption. I think that
Because
it is the only chance the Ravens have.
yeah, I agree with that. They just need to Ravens, if they could teleport to 15 to 20 minutes even against the Dragons, they have a really good shot. Because I think that's when Shot calling can come in, and Haddix can control the game. If you can get Haddix to that point of the 15 to 20, 25 minutes, they can win the set. If they start losing, if it's 5k down by 15 to 20 minutes, I think Dragons, unless they miraculously throw a late game fight, I think that Dragons are going to win.
Yeah, what's your set count here? I'm going 2-0 J Dragons.
I would say 2-1 Dragons. I think maybe Haddix can hyper carry a game.
Sure.
But I think Dardes and Last are going to play really well against Vin and Scream in the mid lane, and not let them kind of run the map. And Last played insanely well last Worlds. Coast played insanely well last Worlds. I think PBM has a relatively good performance kind of every Worlds. So I can't see him faltering. I mean, there's the curse with like Dardes and Nika, but I think that curse has kind of been lifted with all their new teammates.
Yep.
So yeah, I would say 2-1.
Fair enough. All right, Levi's Hex Mambo. This is Johnny's team up against the Leviathans. I mean,
it's just Levi's.
It's just Levi's 2-0, right? Like, there's no... Yeah. Is there any... This is the set... Do you think that Mambo or Scarabs have a better chance to take a game?
Probably Mambo.
I agree. Because remember, last year, this Leviathans team looked really bad at Worlds. They had really bad drafts. They executed really poorly. That's your hope here if you're Hex Mambo. If they come out and play their game, enjoy your time on the stage, because you won't be there long. This Leviathans team is just too good. That's the big thing. Okay. For the most interesting of the quarterfinal matchups, in my opinion, just for narrative purposes, for storyline, it's Genetics up against the Camelot Kings. It's the Oni Warriors versus the Camelot Kings.
Oh, that is hilarious.
I think the crowd is going to be heavily Kings favored here, is my expectation.
Oh, yeah.
I think they
100%.
are going to be losing their minds for Kings playing well. Here's the thing. The Kings looked not good at all at this group stage. There is a non-zero chance this set is over in less than an hour, including picks and bans time. Like, it was... I am worried. I am worried about this set not going very, very long. But imagine if the Warriors lose game one. If the Warriors lose game one, it could get ugly really quick. Like, it could easily turn into a tilt fest. It could easily turn into the whole crowd going for the Kings, all that kind of stuff. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this set is going to be like less than 90 minutes total, with the Warriors winning 2-0. But there's a chance, right? Technically.
Yeah, I think Warriors 2-0 this set.
Yeah, okay, cool. We can move on from that.
I think that Kings are kind of in the same position as Ravens, but in a much worse position. Like a similar position, but much worse. I think Kings looked very flat. I think they looked uncoordinated. This is just not the Kings that we saw last year.
No, it is not.
And the skill is still there, but I think that they just don't have a way to harness it and to play together.
Their front line, look, Genetics is an unbelievable player, one of the best players in the league, one of the best supports that has ever played. He was not the difference between the Kings and how they're playing right now and the Kings of last year. Twig, his life circumstances, having a kid, I've said many times in this podcast, the sleep that you get is so different. It does not surprise me at all that he's struggling. I did realize that I get to sleep in a hotel room where no kid is going to wake me up. I can't wait. I'm going to go to bed at 8 p.m. on Thursday when I get in because it's going to be a quiet hotel room. I'm so excited. That's literally like the thing I'm second most excited about.
That's the most dad thing I've ever heard.
Dude, I can't wait. It's going to be so nice. I'm going to sleep. You aren't going to see me out at night at all. It's not because I don't want to or like I'm not about having fun. I just can't wait to sleep and not get woken up. It's going to be great. And Twig gets the same thing here, you know? He gets to sleep in a hotel room.
Oh, true.
It could be I'm not even kidding. It could be a really big deal for him. That being said...
He's just going to wake up in a cold sweat like, where's the baby?
I mean, yeah, I'm literally worried that I'm not going to be able to sleep anyways. Like, Twig's fight selection, historically a big strength of his, has been abysmally bad over the last few months. It continued to be really bad at this event. Harry, you can say that the last meta didn't favor him. There is no excuse for him to be playing this poorly in this meta that is warrior-centric. Quig still looks like he is not integrated into this team at all. You know, it still looks like he just got picked up, in my opinion. And it's not that he's a bad player. It's just that there's no interlocking work between him and Twig and Variety. And you're just not going to beat the best teams in the world where it's like you're a pickup team, which is the sense that I get from this front line. So that's why I expect them to not do well. But the hotel bed quiet could be big for Captain Twig. Keep an eye on that.
Oh, that was a good one.
Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, they get like 3 hotel rooms, like 2 people per hotel room. You guys should just put 3 people in one and just give Twig like his
Ben
own room.
The best sleep that he's gotten in months. Let my man's cook. Like,
make him some tea, you know, tuck him in.
Give him a little smooch on the forehead and let him go and let him snooze away, man. That's the move right there.
Like, let Biggie sleep on the floor or something, like, or just like put the mattresses together, you know, and just like have 3 people sleeping on 2 mattresses just for Twig's sake.
Just for him, man. He
deserves it.
He 100% does. Okay, so we both have Fairymen and Jade Dragons in the first semifinal. Man, I don't know. Like, I've been high on the Dragons since they made their roster change. I still think the Fairymen are the best team. That team, even with the understanding that they all typically play very well at Worlds, they have at times also had events where they don't play quite as well. You know, like Season 6 Splice, I remember really underperforming, losing in quarters to eventually the champions in SK. It has happened. I think the Dragons could have a chance here. I do think that it is their worst semifinal matchup, just because the Fairymen are, I think, noticeably stronger than either of the other 2 teams, in my opinion. I'm going to go 3-1 Fairymen, but part of me wants to take the leap here and say Dragons, but I'm going to fend off that voice in my head and lock in the Fairymen 3-1.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to go 3-1 Fairymen. I feel like Fairymen are just too cohesive right now. I feel like Baskin is just too good. And I also feel like we touched on earlier, the rest of them just play extremely well at Worlds time. I don't think this team has had a bad Worlds in years. I don't think the players, like Baskin played lights out last Worlds. And that was on like 3 months of Smite, and he's had like 15 months at this point. And then also I think that Fairyman's shot calling between Baskin and Cyclone just always being consistent is just going to give them the edge over Dragons. I think that Dragons might be able to catch 1 or 2 games, but I don't think they can win the set.
I don't know, man. I want to pull the trigger, but I just can't. I can just envision a world where Lass is playing the best Smite of his life, and Dardez is like just Dardezing. You know, he's just picking these weird things. He's playing in weird ways. That unconventional style is such a benefit against traditional teams, and I would say the Fairymen are a very traditional team. I don't know, man. I'm not going to do it, but part of me wants to.
If Dardas outshines Paul, then they can win.
Yes, that is what it will take. And I don't think that's an impossibility. I'm high on Dardas, but it's not going to be easy. Okay, then it's Leviathans up against the Warriors in the other semifinal. This one is a complete coin flip, in my opinion. Like, where do you even like start? Because these teams are both, in my opinion, incredibly volatile.
Yeah, I think Warriors just got worse with genetics. And I think that Leviathans have been on the up and up. I think adapting. I've been watching his stream lately.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is crazy. Like,
he's locked
that
in.
guy is just ridiculous. Like, I don't watch that much Smite. I mean, I've never watched that much Smite for like Twitch streams. But I was locked into his stream for like 3 games straight, and his Thor gameplay was perfect. Like, it was just perfect. And I think FineOK as well. I think their solo side of the map is just insanely good. I think PCAT and Ronnie, I think they've had some synergy issues here and there, but I think lately they've been playing really well together. I think Shinto as well is reinvigorated. And I would say 3-1 Levi's. Honestly, I feel pretty confident in Levi's. I genuinely think Warriors have just gotten worse.
Yep.
With the I think genetics leaving made the entire league worse.
It kind of did, right?
Top to bottom, he just like
only team that improved, the literal only team that improved from these roster changes were the Dragons.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And Leviathans. Leviathans getting Panda Cat was big.
Mm-hmm. And outside of that, it's just he made everyone worse.
Yeah.
And Hounds took it the hardest, man. Like,
they did.
Hounds just got absolutely smacked. They did not deserve. Okay, for
I
how
said at the time, I didn't think Quig should leave. That I thought that the King situation was going to be worse than staying with the Hounds. And I wonder how different the league looks, because I wonder if Coast leaves, if Quig is still there. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they were, in my opinion, they were looking good. Like, Hounds were on the up and up. And then it's literally like a plane getting shot out of the air. And then it just crashed at this last event. Like,
yeah, you're not wrong.
They were taking off. They were, gaining altitude. And then, yep, it just got ugly.
Yep, it's tough for them. Okay, you and I have been too similar so far. We've agreed on literally everything except for Jade Dragons versus Ravens, where we both had the same team winning, but you had 2-1, I had 2-0. I'm going to get a little spicy here. I'm going to pick the Warriors, and here's why. I think that team can gain a lot of momentum very quickly, and I think I could see this set being a 3-0 for the Warriors, where they just get on a roll and the Leviathans just can't gain any traction in this set. I think the Warriors. Sorry, I just like got stun locked by my thoughts. I think the Warriors are going to win 3 in a row, but I think the Levi's are going to win game 1. So I'm going to go 3-1 Warriors. That's my prediction. Because the Warriors play a suffocating brand of Smite, you know? They get ahead early. They have really dominant players when they're ahead, and Panatama and Sot in particular, Pagon as well. So I think, I don't know. I'm really liking Warriors 3-1 in this scenario. BaRRaCCuDDa just texted me, did I DC? No, you are still there, and I can hear you. This is good podcast content, right? That Bear and I will talk over text, but you'll be able to hear him anyways. That's so funny. I don't know what's going on his end. We just knew that it was going to be something along these lines.
You can hear me? I can't hear you.
Yep.
What?
Okay. I'm saying 3-1 Warriors.
What? Okay.
There you go. I texted
How do I
to
fix
him.
this?
I don't know how you fix it.
No, I didn't mute.
This is good. This is good podcast content.
My sound's still working.
Right here.
No, my headphones are still working. The battery is...
Chad is trying to help him, troubleshoot right now. This is just really good. This is really good content. All right, let's... I
don't know what's happening.
All right.
Wait, Aggro, change screens real quick so I can rejoin.
Okay, here I go. We're changing screens. I'm not going to mute, though. Not muting.
Did you change screens? Chat, I need help. I didn't do anything.
He's coming back, everyone. Don't
Hello?
worry. Oh, are you back? Can you hear me?
It's still not working.
I don't think you can hear me, gang. Unlucky. What a great podcast, you know. This is what you guys come here for, right? Is for this moment. I'm just gonna leave it up while he's joining, because nothing gets there anyways. Yeah, I don't know if his Discord deafened by accident or what. Imagine if this is your first time tuning into this podcast and you didn't know that tech issues are like our brand, you know? This is like our bit. This is what we do. I wonder if he is restarting his whole PC right now. Oh, Bear's mom's in chat. Hi, Bear Mom. I don't know if Luna stepped on his keyboard. Discord muted on Windows. All of these are great possibilities, chat, to which I wish I could help. Anyways, I guess I'll talk about my finals matchup, and then Bear can give us his whenever he comes back. Oh, he's on the way back? Hello? Can you hear me?
Bro, I can't hear you. Nothing happened. I don't understand.
Oh, man. Okay.
I restarted my Discord client. It's just broken. What has happened, man?
I'm just telling him in chat to give us his finals prediction.
Give us your finals prediction? Okay, nice. I don't think Luna was up here. Oh, I found the issue.
Oh, boy.
My voice meter banana is not working. The program has died, so along with that, my sounds have died. Yeah, my headset's on.
Could you restart that program?
I have a program that mixes the audios, and it just died. It's just not working. Wait, let me see if I can change... Hold on, I can fix this.
He can fix it, ladies and gentlemen. He can do it. He can fix it. He's in the process of fixing it. He's got incredible focus.
Never mind, I can't fix it.
He can't fix it, ladies and gentlemen.
I came in confident.
He can't.
But I swapped all of them, and then...
You think this is getting edited for YouTube? Absolutely zero chance.
Finals predictions...
No, restart the program.
My finals predictions would be... I did turn it off, and then I turned it off, and I turned it back on, and it didn't do anything.
Oh, okay. He's on it. He tried.
Okay, my headset just turned off, actually, no.
Oh, no. Now we're multiple steps away from being able to...
It would be funny if I called Aggro, and then we just did it that way. Wait, let me just restart my computer. I'll be right back.
Okay, he's restarting his computer, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be right back. Good Lord. Okay. I'll give you my finals prediction then. I've got Warriors up against the Fairymen. Man, this set, the Warriors, I think, are the hardest team to predict because they win hard and lose hard the majority of the time, I think. So this could be like I don't think it's that insane if the Warriors like win 2 in a row against the Fairymen, right? And the Fairymen come back and reverse sweep them. I don't think it's that insane if the Fairymen go up 2-0 and then lose 2 in a row and then close it out in game 5. The Warriors could sweep them. they could get swept. Like, I think that it being a 3-0 or a 3-2 are equally likely in either direction. Because that's just the type of team the Warriors are, in my opinion. I really hope it's a 3-2. I really hope it isn't a 3-0 one way or the other. Man. You know, I think it's going to be very common to predict the Fairymen. And I do think they're going to be able to do it. It didn't fix it. It didn't fix it, ladies and gentlemen. It didn't. And we get the egg profile picture there for BaRRA. He's back.
Oh, visually. This is some great timing.
Yeah. I'll call him.
Wait, you still on my prediction? I have to load up the chat again.
I'm just going to call him. Here we go. So that way he can hear me. Call on the phone. It's ringing. This is good. This is good podcast content.
For the, I guess I don't know if I should start talking. I don't know if Aggro's talking.
Answer your phone. That's.
Oh. Hello.
Hi, Barry.
Hey, buddy.
Listen to my voice this way. You know.
Yeah.
That'll work. Yeah. I'm gonna put you down. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. Boy, what a podcast episode this is for us, huh?
Well, the audio worked in the beginning, just not at the end.
Right, and that's just a different 2024, new podcast, new us, new year.
Yeah, thank you.
So I decided that we had too many similar predictions, so I have gone 3-1 Warriors for Levi's Warriors. In fact, I said specifically that the Warriors are going to lose game 1 and then win 3 in a row to beat the Leviathans. That's my prediction. Okay.
That's a very bold prediction.
Thank you. Now it's time for the finals. And I've been saying that I think that it is equally likely that this set is a 3-0 or a 3-2 in any direction. For me, because the Warriors are such a volatile team. But for you, it's the Leviathans. So what do you think your finals ends up looking like with the Fairymen and Leviathans?
That's a very hyped match because it's Baskin versus Fine OK.
Yep.
And both, in my opinion, deserve a ring. That's crazy. I think I would go Fairymen still.
Okay.
And I think it would be 3-1 Fairymen.
3-1 Fairymen over the Levi's. Okay, yeah, I also want an MVP prediction from you.
MVP would be... With Warriors being so strong, I would go with Baskin.
Baskin. I like it. I think it's a strong call.
I feel like just with how much space I saw good Warriors players making, it's just going to be, in my opinion, a solo-driven Worlds. Uh-huh. And I think solo-driven Worlds make the best Worlds. Uh-huh. Like Benji Colin, I will remember that until the day I die.
Yep.
And yeah, I feel like if a solo laner on any team doesn't get MVP, I will be shocked. And
interesting. Okay.
I will say that solo laners deserve it because I think that role is crazy good right now with the space that they can create on top of being able to kill people. And yeah, I just think it's a solo meta.
All right. In that time, I've made my decision as well. I'm going 3-2 Fairymen. And here's how it's going down. The Warriors are winning 2 in a row and then getting reverse swept by the Fairymen. That's my hard and fast prediction. And I'm also saying Mooney MVP. There we go. Oh, we got Worlds locked up. We both have the Fairymen winning. Would you take the field or the Fairymen?
Would I take the field or the Fairymen?
Right. Like, if you had to pick, do you think it's more likely that the Fairymen win or that any other team wins?
Fairymen.
Wow, really? I would take the field. I'm picking the Fairymen, but I would still take the field. I think that they are the best, but they aren't
unbeatable.
Unbeatable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that team at Worlds is just going to be too good. Unless something comes out that they have to ban, and that changes the way that they want to pick and ban against teams. Like we talked about earlier with Dragons. Um, like if Dardes comes out with some crazy stuff that needs to be banned, I can't imagine. Like if it's normal Smite, I can't imagine Fairymen losing. Um,
Sure.
which we talked about earlier with teams like cheesing them or dragons like playing unconventionally. But something needs to be different for Fairymen to lose a game, in my opinion. And I do think the only team that can beat them is Leviathans. But I think by finals time, I think Fairymen will be a little too experienced in the meta, and also being able to see a lot of Levi's games, and also Levi's being a more traditional team. But I think that the only way Fairymen are going to lose in this tournament will be in the finals.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if, like Neon in chat asked the percentage of the top 3 winning versus the other 5, if the Dragons can beat the Fairymen, then they can beat anyone.
Yeah.
In fact, if the Dragons beat the Fairymen, they're winning, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because that means they're playing with a lot of momentum. Now, the chances of them beating the Fairymen aren't great, but they're better than... I don't know. I think I'd give them more than 10%. Not a lot more. Like, they're less than 25. Maybe
I'd give them like 5%.
I think I'd give them like 15, which is not great odds. You know, I'm not putting a bet on 15%, but I don't know. It's not nothing.
You just start talking to the crowd around you like, you guys want to bet on
anyone want to put some gems
put
on
a dollar
game?
in?
Actually, thank you for reminding me. Snoopy owes me 5 gems for the King set. We were watching it. I haven't gotten that yet. Thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So we both have Fairymen winning. We both have Basket as MVP. That would be a very hype Worlds, indeed, if that's the case. All right, time for the random question of the week, of course, from our community Discord. Seafog, a very relevant one here. When do you start packing before a trip? Let me tell you this. I'm leaving my house at like 3:30 a.m. Thursday morning. So I'm going to bed at my house Wednesday night, waking up in the middle of the night, driving to get my shuttle to the airport. I will not pack until I'm about to go to bed Wednesday night. I'm packing the night before at the earliest. If I'm leaving like in the afternoon, let's say I'm not leaving my house until 2 p.m., I'm packing at like noon that day. I cannot be asked to pack earlier than that. Don't try to get me to pack earlier than that. It won't work.
You just said the most Destiny thing to me you've ever said.
It won't work. I won't do it. No matter how much you want me to, I won't.
Uh-huh. It's just like something in my brain will not let me do this. I'm sorry.
Can't.
It will not happen, and I can't. And I'm like, okay.
Yep.
I would say, regardless of the time, the next day, the night before. And also, I will not be washing clothes the night before until like 8 p.m. if I need it. And so that way I will be staying up to get clean clothes to pack before I go. Because I've done that on basically like all of my land trips. I'm always packing the night before, regardless of the time that I leave the next day. But it's always a late night. Like, it will always be like 11, midnight, or 1 when I end up going to sleep.
Yeah. I'm leaving my house at like 3:30. I don't know how much sleep I'm going to get that night.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be rough, for sure. Seafog has another good question. I wonder what happened to you this day, Seafog, to ask this question. How many owls would you have to see in one day before you became suspicious about the number of owls you'd seen that day?
Honestly, I would say like 3, I think. Because 2 would be like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I've seen 2 owls a day. I would be like, Pog Champion. 3... 3, I would be like, what's going on here? Like, why are there so many owls around here? Like, to question it, it would be 3. Like, I would just be very confused because I never normally see an owl, like, ever.
Yeah.
And 1, I would say that's really cool. 2, I'd be like, wow, like, I really saw, like, 2 owls today. That's actually
Pog
crazy.
champing.
Yeah, I'm Pog champing. I would say something Andy would say.
Yeah.
And then 3, I would be like, okay, this is weird. Like, something's going.
It depends a lot on how I see the owl and how the owl sees me. Because if I see one owl, that's fine, no matter what. But all I'm saying is if I see the second owl and I like see it from behind, right? And then it does the thing where it like full turns its head around to look me right in the eyes, I'm instantly freaked. Like that's going to get me on owl number 2. Owl number 1 could do that to me and I could I could get past that. If owl number 2 does that to me, if I see owl 3, it's on site for me and that owl. Like, I've got to defend myself.
Yeah, something's going down.
So, yeah. It could be 2. It could be 3. If all 3 are chill, the 4th one would freak me out no matter what, I think. But it's all dependent on how we lock eyes. For sure. And then last but not least, we have Neon asking, do you think you'd be friends with a clone of yourself?
No.
Really?
I don't think so. I feel like I would get on my own nerves.
Interesting. I think I would be friends with myself. I would definitely get on my own nerves, but that's fine.
Well, would I know it's a clone of myself?
That's a good question. That's key.
Or would it just be a person that is exactly like me, but I wouldn't be aware that it... Like, would it just be like a random person? I wonder if this is a question
that, like, a therapist would normally ask, you know? Like, does this give some insight into how we view ourselves, like, in general? I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe I'm overthinking it. And by maybe, I mean always. That's kind of my brand.
Well, I like thinking, like, in my head. I wouldn't want someone to...
I hate when my thinking gets out of my head. It's so annoying. Well, I have to track it down. It's so annoying.
If you're friends with yourself, they would just be saying everything that you're thinking out loud, right? I guess they would be thinking the same thoughts that you're thinking. So
they'd be thinking the same thoughts that I'm thinking if we were in the same situation. But I'm assuming they aren't sleeping in my bed at night. You know, they're sleeping in their own bed. It's a different version of you. It's living a different life in some capacity. So it's just what you would be like in that scenario. So
it's like a different universe of me.
In your universe.
Would I say the same things?
If you yourself were in the exact same scenario as the clone, then yes, you would say the same things. But
so if we're right next to each other, we would just be repeating everything that we're saying.
No, because you wouldn't have done the same things the clone had done earlier that day. You know, like how you react to a situation is influenced by everything that's happened to you in your life up until that point. You know?
So it's a clone of me, but not me.
Well, that depends. Now we're getting philosophical up in here, Barry.
Well, is it a clone of me or is it a clone?
It's a clone of you that's lived a different life. Situation. That's how I'm taking this question from Neon. It's a clone of you that's lived a different life.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I would be friends. For sure.
I definitely would be friends with mine. Well,
yeah.
Depends how different the life is. I could see a version of me that lived a different life that I would not want to be friends with. But if they're chill, then yeah.
Yeah, I would be friends with myself, for sure.
If I got cloned today, and then they split off and we met in like a year, I would definitely be friends with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I changed my answer. I would be friends.
Nice. I think that means we have healthy views of ourselves.
Good.
That's all there is to it.
Good therapy session.
Good therapy session, everyone. Okay. Thanks everyone for watching / listening. I hope I'm going to see some of you at Worlds. If you see me at Worlds, please come up, say hi. Please have also washed your hands recently. People are getting sick a lot. I just got over having COVID. But I really don't want to bring any sickness back to my little kid. So that's just a good tip in general. But I would appreciate it. You know, that's true. But yeah, I would love to get a picture with you, talk to you. I'm sorry if I don't recognize your name. It's very different hearing someone's like IGN spoken out instead of reading it on a page. But yeah, please come up and say hi. And let's talk about how stinky BaRRA is for not being there.
Yeah, just take all these pictures and send them to me and be like, "Oh, you're missing out." I would love that.
Yeah, we will.
Did
I just hang up?
If you're prone to getting sick, I
just hung up on
would.
BaRRA.
If you're going to Worlds, I would highly recommend to wear a mask.
He doesn't know.
In our office,
so troll.
COVID is going around as well as RSV.
That's the bad one.
And if you're gonna see any like loved ones or anything recently after Worlds, then I would just highly recommend wearing a mask and
yes,
or
he's
doing
right on this. This is such a troll podcast.
Like
now.
Juicing up on vitamin C or doing whatever you need to.
Yep. I'm gonna scare him by calling him. You ready? Okay, you just realized. That was so troll. That was
hung up on me.
That was so troll. I accidentally hung up on you, and I was like, "Guys, I hung up, but he doesn't know yet." And you were just.
I was just. Yeah, I was looking over. I had the stream, and I was like, "Wait, we're talking at the same time." Wait, something went wrong.
I told on myself. That's so unlucky. No, what you were spitting. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I don't know what part I was spinning at because you hung up on me.
Well, that's, I just didn't want to get sick from you having all these sicknesses all the time.
Oh, that's fair.
And you were spitting, like I was saying. Yeah, that's it. Hope to see you all at Worlds. If you aren't going to Worlds, enjoy watching it. We'll be back after Worlds is done to talk about it. Probably have a guest on from the winning team. It should be a lot of fun. A lot of exciting stuff. So can't wait. Can't believe it's finally here. Yeah, the phone was real, yo. BaRRaCCuDDa's audio stopped working. This was the only way for us to continue podcasting. Wait, it would be good. Is this a good bit where you and I both have the phone and then we're both looking like on we're looking at each other on the overlay? Like this is a good bit. This is how podcasts should be, just two dudes talking on the phone.
That's what a podcast is.
It's weird having the phone up to my ear and hearing you twice.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, wait, should I?
No, you shouldn't.
No,
yeah, don't mute.
I should.
Don't.
Yeah.
Do not mute. Okay, yeah, we're done anyways. Okay, yeah, see you next time. Thanks for watching. BaRRa, you know what to do.
Bye.
Over the phone.